101.9.
Well, good evening and welcome to Tiger Talk here on Humberwave Radio and on to Hull and Back podcast. First live one back since the Christmas break. It's good to have a live one. It'd be good to see you commenting tonight. If you are watching, drop us a hi in the comments and we'll say hi back to you. Good evening to you, Jan.
Good evening, everybody.
Evening to you, Becca.
Evening, Eddie.
And evening to you, Paul.
Good evening, Eddie.
Hope you're all well. Hope you had a nice Christmas. And I hope 2026 is going to be a good year for you all. And also for Tiger Talk, because that's what it's all about, isn't it? We've got a few things to talk about on tonight's show. We've got last week's game to talk about, which actually went ahead, which is a bonus, wasn't it? New Year's Day at home against Stoke City. We've got the game that was cancelled, very short notice on Sunday to talk about. There wasn't much of a game, but we can talk about the cancellation. I think we need to talk a little bit about the transfer window as well. It's now open. There's rumours of Charlie Hughes, Middlesbrough might be back in for him again. And I think we also maybe need to talk about a former manager tonight. Liam Rossini had been appointed as the new Chelsea boss. Only less than 2 years that he was let go by Hull City. It's all good fun, isn't it, being a City fan, Jam?
It is indeed, isn't it? Yeah. So are we starting with that Stoke match?
We can start with the Stoke match. Yeah, have a go at that and tell me what your thoughts are.
Same as I thought on Boxing Day. It looks to me as they've either had too many late nights or too much dinner or a drink. I don't care what anybody says. They need to be reporting in at about mid-afternoon on the day before that.
Yeah, there's something to be said for that. I mean, you know, I did say, did they go out on New Year's Eve? I don't know whether they did or they didn't.
They probably didn't. But at the end of the day, it's the same for every team. And, you know, the Stoke team weren't great, but they were better than us. And, you know, you watch the other games on, you know, that were shown later on. And it's always the same, isn't it?
Yeah, it is always the same. It just seems to happen, doesn't it? And we don't seem to do any good with it. I don't know, you know, how these things happen and why it always goes like that. I've not a clue, but, you know, it just seems to, doesn't it, Paul?
Yeah, it was a poor game, to be fair. Two teams that just, well, I think they both wanted a draw, to be quite honest. We've hit the bar, haven't we? And then they've gone down the other end and scored. It was a poor game. I think, you know, two poor teams on the day. Obviously, maybe they did have too much the night before. Maybe it was a game too many a little bit. I don't know. There's a lot of games thrust in that period, isn't there? And, you know, you can't play well every game, you know, and I think it probably took a lot out of them against Middlesbrough. So I don't know. It's just a poor game. They got the goal. We never really looked like scoring. We had a couple of half chances. A good shot by Palmer late on that just didn't go over the line. But it was just a poor game to me. One of them games that neither team played that well. They just got the goal and they're stuck at it. They've got a big defence. We just didn't find anything. And I don't know what the reason is. It could be New Year's Day. I don't know. But New Year's Eve, should I say. But I just think it was just one of them games. We've had a few of them this season, to be fair, when we haven't been at it. It's not an unusual thing. It's as though we've been playing well every match, and that was an exception. We've been poor on a few games. So I just think it was just one of them games, to be quite honest. And Stoke are one of our bogey teams. I know we beat them there, but we don't beat them very often at home. I mean, when Liam Rossini was in charge, I think it was a time when, you know, win that game and it puts a real lot of, is in a good position. We end up losing 2-0. I don't even think that game we had a shot on target. So it's not as though it's a rarity with Hull City, is it? These matches and displays. They've had a few bad displays this season. They've got away with it occasionally. Sometimes it goes against you and you get beaten. That's what happened against Stoke, I felt. I just thought it was a poor game. It didn't get me off my edge of my seat, to be honest. I think the biggest thing was the 17 minutes that got the biggest applause when that went up. So just a poor game. Two teams that I don't think either one was at it.
Evening to Owen. He says a good cup run, please, City. Yeah, that'd be nice. Evening to you, Lee, and Happy New Year to you. And Lee also says Stoke's annual win at the MKM Stadium. Two poor teams. It was Happy New Year to us on New Year's Day, Becca, wasn't it, with that display?
It was awful. I think that's the most tragic performance I've seen in a few games. Rightly so, Paul. We had a few poor appearances this season, but 5 games we've lost on the trot at home to Stoke now. This out of hand, it would just seem to be a banking 3 points for them, but neither teams did anything special. They nicked it. Games can go either way. We've had those games going our favour this season where we've managed to nick all 3 points, and it's poor. And I agree, Jan. After they do look lethargic. They do look like they've probably gone over into the Christmas period, enjoyed themselves, spent a lot of time with the family, and hopefully we can turn things around. They've had a game off against Watford with that getting called off, and see what the cup brings.
See what the cup brings. I'm sure that a lot of people. Well, there might not be a lot of people that have bought the tickets to the FA Cup game. I haven't actually got mine yet. I will be getting it. I am going, but I haven't bought it as yet because I just haven't got round to it. It should have maybe given us a free entrance to the FA Cup after the debacle on Sunday, which we'll come to. We'll talk a little bit about that. But the Stoke game for me, poor performance. I think that. It's that situation. I agree with what you say, Paul. There was a lot of games where a depleted squad. I know there's lots of people that have got problems, and it's not just us that have got problems and squad problems and injuries and stuff like that. But I do think that it is hitting us quite hard at the moment, and I think that we're struggling because of that. So, I just think that. It's one of them where you're up for it, you're getting up, you've gone, it's New Year, you go in there on a New Year's Day, you're thinking it's going to be a great showing, and it's not a great showing, and it's frustrating. So I think there'll have been a lot of frustrated fans there on New Year's Day, and then definitely there was a lot of frustrated fans there on Sunday. I was at the Tigers Trust Arena. We left quite late on Sunday. We normally leave about latest at past. But we left at about 22 on Sunday, and we're walking up, and we only sort of got not even to the north stand, and there was fans turning around and saying it's been called off. Well, Stan McEwen did come into the Tigers Trust Arena before the game, and he come and had a chat with me, and he said, "There's 30 people on the touchline, Eddie, and they're all looking at this frost and ice that's there." They've got a blowtorch out. They've got some salt. They've got some spades. I thought, oh, that doesn't sound good. But then I read on Twitter and I saw somebody had put to James Hogarth, is there any chance of this being called off? And James had put, no, I wouldn't have thought so. Now it's, everything's all right. It'll be fine. The teams have warmed up and it'll be okay. And then all of a sudden it is called off with, I think it was 18 minutes was the official time to go. So they could have called it off before that, I thought, and I thought it was bad of them to do that, especially for the travelling Watford fans. And I know there's been a lot of uproar about the Watford from the Watford fans, and I've got now against the Watford fans having uproar because I think they're entitled to that after coming 3.5 to 4 hours from Watford, and then having to go back not seeing a game, and then they're going to have to come back again if they want to watch it again. So I think it was a bit of a shambles. It's a great word that you've used there, Lee. It was a shambles, yes. And I think that the situation could have been managed a lot better. We'll come to you first, Rebecca, and ask you what you think.
I think it just goes to show in this modern day that there's some duty there from the FA, the Premier League and the EFL to do something about these type of games. How many Watford fans now are out of pocket from all that travel up to Hull? Like you say, it's 3.5 hours. Working class people can't afford to be wasting money like that on New Year's Day. And I know it's Mother Nature, you can't do a lot about it, but it should have been called a lot earlier than what it was. And I agree, I can understand why they are outraged. I think there's been some inflammatory comments made on social media by Watford.
Always will be, Becca, always will be.
But that, it's part and parcel with these sort of things. It's disappointing for everybody all around.
It certainly is. What's your thoughts on it, Paul?
As Lee said, it is a shambles, isn't it? 18 minutes before the kickoff, it's poor. It doesn't reflect good on the club, to be fair, that they've let it go that far when the pitch was immaculate, evidently. And I mean, we didn't get into the ground, so I can't say I saw it immaculate, but I'm sure it was. It was just the sidelines. Well, they must have known early there was a problem. It just seems stupid to me to be calling it off that late. You can understand the Watford fans. You know, why wouldn't you be unhappy? You're in the ground. I mean, there's a lot of City fans in the ground as well, I think. And then they call it off, and you've come all that way. And there was no sign of it being called off, particularly, was it? It wasn't as though you came, well, it might be called off. We've had a lot of bad weather. I know we've had some bad weather, but it was always looked as though it was going to be played. And to have that, just the sidelines, the problem. You'd have thought they'd have known early doors, I know they probably would have been on the way, but they might have been able to call it off at, I don't know, 12 o'clock or something like that if there was no chance of them getting the sidelines done. I mean, it looks as though didn't look as though there was any movement with the sides part of, I don't know what it is, AstroTurf, I think it is, or something, isn't it? I just didn't see there was any movement even with this blowtorch, to be quite honest. So they must have had an idea. I think it was poor. I would think the club should say that they'll give free transport to the Watford fans back, to be quite honest. I don't think it'd be a bad gesture because, excuse me, 3 hours on a coach or 3.5 hours on a coach and then another 3.5 hours on a coach to go back. As Becca said, people are paying good money to come and they aren't going to get they haven't got anything for it. So I think City as a club should be offering free transport to their supporters. Obviously, only the ones who've got tickets, because depending on what it is, they could bring absolute loads, couldn't they? So it would cost them a bomb. But
Yeah.
I think they should offer free transport to the Watford fans who bought tickets for this match and came down. And if they can't come to the next one, I don't know, some sort of recompense. It's poor because they should have known a lot earlier than when they did. To have people out with blowtorches half an hour, 45 minutes before the game is ridiculous. Because the weather didn't alter that much, and as though we suddenly had a bad spell of weather. It was like it all the day. It was cold. It was never getting much of whatever it was, 2 or 3 degrees. I don't know. It was never going to alter that much. So they must have known early doors what the problem was, and they haven't dealt with it. So it just puts the club in a bad light, I think, and that's the disappointing thing, realistically, for me. And obviously, I feel sorry for the Watford fans who've come all this way. I mean, on a sort of note of points, it's probably a good idea because they was on a good run. We was maybe struggling a little bit with players, so it hadn't done us any harm. But it's a bad thing to happen. I think So,
well, Jan disagrees with you. She don't think we should give free travel to the Watford fans. I think we should. The ones that had tickets to come, I think that we should do that. And I do agree with you that it's shone us in a bad light. Have your say, Jan?
Yeah, I absolutely think it's embarrassing and it shambles and it has put us in a bad light. But, I've said on the social media platform, until we actually know what happened, I'm not going to start blaming people. What I do think is bad is the shortness of the notice and the negative PR that we've got. Of course, you've got some sympathy for the Watford fans, but once you start doing things like refunding money, you're setting a dangerous precedent for me. I mean, and I say this without disrespect, but we were 3/4 of the way to Cardiff when the Queen died, and they cancelled all football that weekend, and we had a hotel and everything booked. Nobody refunded everybody that weekend, did they, or anything like that? So.
No, there's obviously it is in weather conditions is hard to negate, and I understand that. I think that the way that we've handled it is the reason that I would be offering that, because to give 18 minutes.
Any money, Eddie? What if we're going to offer anything? Why don't we offer some incentive to fill the MKM or take more of our own fans away? Of course, I've got some sympathy with them, but they've actually gone a bit too far. They need to just shut up now with some of the stuff they've been posting and saying on, it wasn't deliberate. And if anybody really thinks that's deliberate, then they need to be looking for the brain cells in that, It will absolutely.
There's a few things, isn't there? I don't know what the exact problem is with the AstroTurf. I've seen a comment from Tiger Fred. He said that what hasn't come out to his knowledge yet is how they intend to prevent the same thing happening again.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good point. And my thing is that when you've let however many thousand fans go into the stadium to buy a pint, to buy some street food, to buy some street food, to buy a pint, to buy whatever in the stadium before the game kicks off, then to me that's the thing where you sort of start to think they shouldn't have done that, should they? They shouldn't have been, the fans that have come in and actually got to the stadium at a good time, which we didn't, then, they will obviously have spent some money in there. And this is the thing is that, as Lee said, he's going to give free car parking on Walton Street for the rearranged fixture because there was people that had paid for parking. Well, whoopee-doo. I'm really chuffed about that free parking. It's going to make such a big difference to me. Not. I would like him to do some things, and he does lots of things, to try and get publicity, like, taking people across to Turkey and all these things like that. He doesn't do enough for every fan for me. And that's my big problem with it, John, is that he needs to start looking after all the fans. He says all about this one family, one dream. For me, he needs to start showing one family, one dream, and not just treating 250 fans or 150 fans a year. He needs to start treating all the fans if he's going to do something. And that's my frustration with him.
100% agree with that, Eddie, because you see so many, don't get me wrong, Johnny Pease is like a PR guru in a lot of ways.
He does.
And like you say, it's a lot of limiting factors, It's not equitable. Not all fans are able to, go into the ballots to go to Turkey or to the Q&A sessions and things like this.
Yeah.
What do you do for everyone that turned up and 20 minutes before kickoff got told the game wasn't going ahead? And even still, it was on social media before it was even announced in the stadium. People sat in the stadium got told 15 minutes before kickoff.
Yeah, we left the arena just before you, AD.
Yeah,
and
you did.
We went in, and I said to John, I'll see you in the seats. And he went off to the loo or something. And I went in, and as I walked in, it came up on the screen and then all the Watford players were over with their fans talking to them. Now, I've heard that other people have messages half an hour earlier saying it's going to be off, but I don't know. I can't verify that at all. We certainly didn't, and we didn't in the arena, did we? But no. In terms of the pitch, you can't put bog standard salt that you put everywhere else and that on that kind of stuff. My only wonder, and it's just a guess, when we had the pitch relayed last summer, or whenever it was, because we haven't really had any heavy frost like that for a while.
No, we haven't. No.
It stops. The undersoil heating stops, doesn't it, at the touchline? I get that. But have to change the perimeter of it then, because when you saw it, I have no issue. It should have been called off. My issue is the timing of it. You can see it was dangerous. Either an assistant referee is going to break the neck, or one of the people in the dugout is going to break the neck, or one of the players warming up. So I get that. But I just wonder if they'd replace that thing with something. I know in schools, when it says all weather, it basically isn't. Once the weather changes, you can't use it.
Yeah, it's certainly a problem, that, and it's as you say, there's obviously a problem with something because they didn't salt it. They was trying the blowtorch on it, which obviously didn't work. They need to find some way of being able to defrost that area and make it work. So they have to try and come up with something on that. Oliver says that Watford's post on X later stirred the pot even more and played to the conspiracy theories and peddled by their fans. It wasn't deliberately done by us, but it was collective incompetence by all involved. And that's the thing, is that their comment, if their comment isn't right, then we need to be doing something about that. But you would be surprised if a club, has put that up on social media for everybody to see without it being true.
Social media.
It does, but you social, you'd like to think that, as much as we're going mad about this part of this game being called off and the problem there, our social media team tend to be quite good and know what they can say and what they can't say. And I would suggest that people that are running social media for football clubs would be well versed in what they can put on social media without any comebacks.
But their comment
Absolutely.
really did, because I think that there is a difference between saying we agree with the decision and we wanted it to be played, which is basically what Sergi said and what our journalists have said. Both managers wanted it to be played. However, collectively, everybody agreed it was dangerous. Now, what they put out on social media said we didn't agree. Now, it's the wording, I think.
Yeah.
They should have said we wanted the game to be played, but we agreed that we would go with the advice of whoever it
Yes,
was.
I agree. That's what they should have put. They didn't though, so that's stirred it up a bit.
Well, I think
Louise.
Cast on that, I really do. I think it's wrong.
Louise said she got there at 2:00 and she had an idea that it wouldn't go ahead when the officials weren't warming up on the pitch like they normally do. Not bothered if it didn't go ahead. It was the timing of it that was the problem.
Yeah,
I agree totally. I'm just looking to see if there's anything else. A lot of the things with the holidays is too much short notice. Everybody can't get the time off for the turkey trips and stuff like that. I totally agree with that. That's one of the problems. It's the same as when they put the tickets up for the events at 10 o'clock in the morning. Not everybody can get on a PC at 10 o'clock in the morning and get to the events. I've been lucky that I've got to a few of these events when they've had them. So it is a frustrating one. Is that? Sarah says that people have their own theories saying it was deliberate from Hull City because of our injury problems. Then that's the problem, is that it doesn't make you look like that.
Personally, I don't think the injuries come into it. We had a team. Yeah, we had a team. We had a
team that beat Middlesbrough.
But they should have known about it earlier. That's what I think.
Louise says if one of Watford's players has got injured, what would they have said that it shouldn't have go ahead? So you can't win. You are right, that if a player gets injured, then everybody would have said it shouldn't have gone ahead. There was that thingy there. So I get it. It's the timing. This is the problem. It is the timing. And that, they should have done it a lot earlier than what they did. Even if the Watford players are halfway here and they get turned round, then that would have been a far better time to do it, because at least they haven't got all the way here and they know that these things happen in football. The things that don't happen in football is calling it off 18 minutes before the game. You don't really hear of that. It's been obviously quite a lot of news over this week about it. So,
we were still laughing back on Sky Sports News when it was all going, because they were broadcasting, the observations around the pitch. And I think even Sky Sports Plus started broadcasting earlier than they normally actually would for the game, showing obviously what was going on. But the club just haven't, like Fred said rightly, they've not come out with how they plan to deal with this in future. They've not looked at their infrastructure and how they're going to plan to deal with these sort of things. It's not,
what Hull City have said, and I'll just read their update that they sent out to all the members. Firstly, we apologise again for the inconvenience and disappointment caused by the timing of Sunday's postponement and fully understand the frustrations felt by our supporters. As such, we wanted to confirm our commitment to you regarding the rescheduling of the fixture at the earliest opportunity. Please know that valid memberships will provide access for the rearranged fixture with a new date to be announced in due course. Although supporters who parked on Walton Street will not be eligible for a refund, the car park will be open free of charge for the rearranged fixture. Please note that the half-time draw was honoured. Yes, they got the money in for that, and they drew a ticket which was ticket number 03875. We thank you again for your continued support and will notify supporters at the earliest opportunity once a date for the rearranged match has been confirmed. If you remember, you should have got that email from the club, because I got that one sent to me. The other thing we'll draw a line under it in a second, but my other thing with this is that the club have not really said the right things at the right times with this either. I think that they could have said more. I think that they could have, provided either more information or apologised at an earlier date. That email came through at dinner time on Tuesday, and that's the first time that they've really apologised to the fans for the messing about. And we talk about the Watford fans. What we haven't talked about is the fans for Hull City that travel a long way to come and watch a game, because you know, we've got to think, we are all quite local to the ground, but there is people that travel hundreds of miles
There's
to
a
come
guy
and
from
watch Hull City.
Australia.
There was a guy from Australia, and I'm sure it was a one-off, and he was coming through for a game, and it's not the norm. But you know, you do get people that travel at least sort of 50, 100 miles to come and watch Hull City from various areas of the country because they're Hull City fans. So you know, we've got to think about them as well. And I think that these are the things that I think with the club. There's some things they do really well, and there's some things they don't do so well. And I think that these are the sort of things that they don't do so well. And somebody needs to take a look at this and to start to manage it better, because ultimately these are the things that fans then start to get frustrated about. And then you start to lose support, and you don't get the amount of people that are coming through the gates at the moment, because we are getting an awful lot of people through the gates at the moment, and we're very lucky to have as many people coming through the gates at Hull City, as far as I'm concerned. So I think, shall we draw a line under it there?
Yeah, fine.
Yeah, that's fair, definitely.
And we'll talk about this weekend's game. I put on the podcast the magic of the FA Cup. Is the magic still there, Jan?
It is. I mean, I'm really quite saddened that lots of people. I mean, the tickets were only available for East and West Stand. If
Yeah, I've seen that.
If that had been Man U, or I don't know, they'd have been flocking. I think that's really quite sad. I get that some people have commitments because it's a Sunday, but I do think we need to get behind the lads. And you know, we've done it before, nearly, didn't we? And at the end of the day, we need the coffers, don't we? Because we've had a £50,000 fine, a £25,000 fine, and we must have lost loads of money at the weekend because they'd still have to pay everybody, wouldn't they?
Oh, they've lost money at the weekend. They will have lost money at the weekend. Do you think, you know? I'll stick with you for the minute, Jan, because we're talking to you. Do you think the club have got the ticketing prices right?
Yeah, I think that. I mean, I was a senior, so how much did we pay? I can't remember.
So your seniors, I'll tell you now, it's £14. £14 for a senior.
Yeah, that's all right. And we do get ours straight away because we like to sit in our own seats and all of that. Unfortunately, the West Stand is
£17.50 for an adult.
Yeah.
£12 for a young adult. Junior's £8. Junior 2 to 10 is £4. Now, here's my thing. I'm going to come back to you, Jan, and I'm going to say to you, I think that the pricing's wrong, and I'll tell you why I think the pricing's wrong. Because I'm going to pay the same price for my ticket as somebody who doesn't have a season ticket.
Yeah, fair enough.
How is that right? And these are the things that we get wrong as a club. You know, if he's saying to me, right, I'm going to charge everybody £17.50 to come in. Apart from season ticket holders, I'm going to do it for a tenner for them, because I appreciate what you're doing.
Yeah, because sometimes when he has these ticket offers, hasn't he? Haven't we got one for
one coming up? So the one coming up is £15 for the Swansea game. Yeah. That's cheaper than the adult ticket to go watch the FA Cup. That's wrong.
I think there's
doesn't make
a balance, isn't there, between trying to get the stadium full, although every time we seem to get it full, we don't win, do we? And as you say, a number of times we've thought, what does he do for us then? You know, it's the same when, we went somewhere recently. When we went to the last Q&A, we all got, and it was lovely, a drink, and I can't knock the guy for that. But as you said, it wasn't open to everybody, and equally, I just think sometimes we don't appreciate the money up front that the membership people put in the first place. So yeah, but conversely, if he's putting the prices down for that, if we pull a Man United or a Villa or a Man City, he ought to put them up.
I'm going to apologise now because I've got it wrong slightly. Lee Walker's made me right. I've just had to log on to see if I was right. £15 it is a member, so Yaz knocked some money off as a member. £2.50. It should be cheaper. It should be cheaper though for me. I still think it should be cheaper. And if you are a senior like Janice, yours will be. I'm just looking down the list now. Sorry, senior member, £12.
I thought it was something which is fair, you know, that's absolutely fine and absolutely fair enough. But as I said, if we pull a big team, if we're cash strapped, put the ticket prices up for non-members because they only come when it's somebody.
Well, I think there's two ways to look at it, Jan. I think if you do them at a tenner and a fiver, just make it across the board, £10 and £5, £10 for adults, £5 for any concession for the FA Cup game. Then you could sell 10,000 tickets. Then you've got probably 4,000 people buying pies. You've got other people buying drinks. It all adds up, and you would make more money. I always come back to this analogy that years ago, Adam Pearson did an offer for my dad. It was he was playing, I think, in the Tigers Trust at the time, and he got some free tickets to give away. And I gave one of these tickets to my friend's son. I think at the time he was 6 or 7. I took him to the game. He's a member. His mum's a member. His granddad's a member. His grandma's a member. So they've got 4 memberships off that one ticket. And if you look after your fans in that way, that's when you start to do these things. And they've been going now, he'll be 24, I would think. So he's probably been going for around about 16 years with all of his family to Hull City through the one free ticket that, they gave to me dad when he was playing football in the Tigers Trust Arena. And
just goes to show that makes a big difference.
It does make a big difference, and these are the things I think that the club needs to think about a little bit more. And if you'd have done a tenner and a fiver for this game on Sunday, I think you'd have sold quite a lot more. You'd have sold a lot more pies. You'd have sold a lot more beers, and you'd have probably made more money by doing it that way than you have done at pricing it as it is.
Do you think?
I remember when we was sorry, John.
Sorry, go on, Becca.
No, I remember when we was kids when we got our first passes under Pearson, and my stepdad used to go to games, and then they started doing the kids for £1 games. So we started going as a family, and that's how we started with our passes.
And they will tell you that if you look at statistics and analysis, people going as kids don't always transfer, because that was the argument that the Alans had that. And I have seen the data that kind of supports that. So I do get it. But what I was going to say is, do you think people have thought, well, he's not going to put out a first string squad, is he? But actually, now I think he might play some of them because they've had nearly 2 weeks off, haven't they?
Yeah.
Because that would put some people off. It rocked up, and then it was purely made up of, like, not academy all, but a much weakened side. Brucey used to do that all the time, didn't he?
Yes. No, he did. He did. We've got a comment here from Josh who says, next round of the FA Cup, Chelsea away, anybody?
Yeah.
Or Chelsea at home, I'd take either. Shall we talk, while he's got that comment on there, shall we talk a little bit about our former manager, Liam Rosenior, who is now, the head coach at Chelsea. Well done to Liam for getting there. It's a big job, isn't it, Paul?
Yeah, I think it's it's not a very good club to join, is it? They go through managers quite regularly. I think he's got a 6-year contract. If he sees that out, I'll be very surprised, to be quite honest. Good luck to him. I mean, I'm not against the guy, but I don't think he'll see a 6-year contract at Chelsea. I mean, the last few managers have all won something and still got the sack.
Well, so, I'll say to you, Paul, this. It's since 2021. I think I'm looking at the right place here. Since 2021, in January, they had Thomas Tuchel, then Graham Potter, Bruno Seta, Frank Lampard, Mauricio Pochettino, Enzo Maresca, and now Liam Rosenior.
Yeah,
that's all since 2021. They usually keep the manager for around about 18 months.
Yeah. Well, he'll make a killing, won't he, Rosenior, on the Monday?
Oh, yeah, he'll make an absolute killing.
I hope he does, and I hope he does well there. But, you just know the club are very up and down. They've got a young squad at the moment. Some games are outstanding. Some games that, like a young squad, are average. So I don't know how much difference he's going to make to them, to be quite honest. I think it's just a young squad. And they're the type of club, a bit like Watford, I think they've done the same at the sack managers come what may. Chelsea are Maybe Chelsea starting. I don't know, but Chelsea sack him quite regularly. He won't see his 6 years out. Where if he does, they'll have done really well. Won the league about 4 times. Probably won the Champions League and the cup as well. So, I can't see him stopping because the last man he didn't. He won the. Was it the one of the lower cups, and then they won the World Club Championship, didn't they? And he still got the sack. The 5th in the league. It's just beggars belief, really, doesn't it? I mean, I don't know what you've got to do at Chelsea to keep your job. It's just ridiculous. So I hope he does well, Liam. I'm not against the lad, but I think he'll struggle to see the 6 years out myself.
Jan, your go, because you was a big Liam Rosenior fan.
I am, and I love the guy, and I hope to bits that he makes it. But I listen to TalkSport a lot, and they get like some of these academics on, and they reckon that Chelsea, they give them long contracts and they structure it. It's their way around the financial procedures. That's how they do it. But what they're also saying is when they give these like 6-year contracts to managers, there's annual breaks and it's rolling. So kind of like we're still paying Tim Walter till the end of his contract unless he gets another job. But in the big clubs, they put like a break in it so that if they sack him, he's only paid up to the next break point. So he won't get 6 years worth of pay. He'll just be sacked and paid up to the next break point.
Yeah,
well,
there is break points in a lot of things in life, so you could be right with that.
He'll still get a few quid, won't he? He won't be on buttons.
To deal with the big, the big I am guys that are in the club. The last guy made the mistake of like Ruben Amorim talking out against the ownership. It's not rocket science, so that's not a good thing to do, is it?
No. I mean, it's one of them, isn't it? He's going there. I mean, my sister messaged me to say Liam Rosenior, job at Chelsea. He can't be that bad a manager, can he? And I agree with her. No, he can't be that bad a manager. But my reply to her was this, and some people may shout at me. I don't care really, because that's what I'm here for, to be shouted at. I put to her, yes, I agree. He's a good manager. However, we are playing better football now than we did under him with a worse squad. And that was my reply to it.
I'm not
well, I knew you wouldn't agree. I knew you wouldn't agree, Jan, and that's why I've put it out there. That is my opinion, and I'm quite entitled to that opinion. Becca was nodding her head, though.
I can see both sides of the coin here because, we are playing more attractive football.
Been exciting football.
Yeah. But in terms of the setup's completely different. It's comparing chalk with cheese. Rosenior wanted to keep possession and he would pass it sideways till the cows came home. But at the end of the day, he's a good manager, and it's great to see a young British manager get a job like Chelsea.
It is. Listen, I've got a lot of time for Liam, so anybody thinking that I don't like Liam, I do. He's a really, really nice guy. When I've been to press conferences, he always shook my hand, always said hello to me. He was always very accommodating. So, I do like Liam Rosenior. I'm like Paul. I really hope he succeeds there. It's a really tough place to go. He'll know that already. He'll know that, it could be a make or break situation for him. He's no mug, so he will know what the situation is. All I think we can do on the podcast is wish him the best of luck with it and hope that he manages to succeed. And if we do get Chelsea in the cup, then Liam, I'm sorry, I want to knock you out. I want Hull City through to the next round of the cup, and not you, I'm afraid. So that's the only thing that I will say against you, Liam, is that I want us to win if we do get you. Louise says, do you think we might be able to get some loan players from Chelsea now? It's a good question. We might be able to. It's fair to say that lots of Chelsea fans aren't too keen on Rosenior. He's been fast-tracked from Strasbourg, and just hope he's learnt lots from his experience with us about his style of play. I agree with you. I think he does need to look at that. I wonder if Liam would get a look in if he hadn't been at Chelsea's sister club. I presume not.
I think that's fair.
And Louise says we play a lot better football under Sergei, but hope Liam does well. I'm the same as you, Louise. I totally agree with you. We have got a little bit. It's the transfer window open at the moment. And Sarah says, what's the truth with us being linked with Lyon keeper Rene Deschamps? I've not seen that one, but I've not had my eye on social media because I've had quite a busy week. I want to ask, has anybody either on the podcast tonight, Jan, Becca, or Paul, or anybody who's listening or watching tonight, got any transfer rumours for us that we don't know about? That's one. Has anybody heard about that one that Sarah says?
It was on social media.
Yeah.
What's the truth in it, Jan?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the big one they're after is this Kieran Dowell, isn't it, from Rangers?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've heard that
Yeah.
one. That is one that I have definitely
There's
heard.
another keeper though as well, but I can't remember his name.
Senny Dieng, so that seems to have
That's it.
fallen by the wayside.
Yeah,
so
That was Middlesbrough's one.
Middlesbrough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I'd heard about that one was it couldn't go ahead until we'd moved somebody out. So I'm assuming with Matt Jacobs coming back from Reading, that may have implicated that deal actually coming through to anything, because you can't be on mega money. But
No.
we aren't in a position to bring anybody in. So do we need to move some loan players out first before we even think about anybody coming in without sacrificing a big name?
Charlie says for the FA Cup, he feels like another early exit is coming, but hopefully we've learned from Wrexham, and that's all you can hope that we've learned from Wrexham. I'm not sure. There's one. I think there's points in the season that you could do with a good FA Cup run, and I'm not sure whether it's the right time for us at the moment with the amount of players that we've got that are struggling a bit for fitness at the moment. So I'm not sure if it is the right time for it or not. It's a difficult one, isn't it, Paul?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like the FA Cup. I think it has lost its magic a little bit, to be quite honest. But I do like the FA Cup. I'd like us to have a good run, but a bit like you, with the situation with the team, players out injured, players. To be fair, like Matt Burney and Miller just coming back from long-term injuries as well, or long injuries. Do you really want them playing that many extra games? Because the week after it's Preston on the Tuesday night or something, then we're away, aren't we? Is it Southampton or somewhere? So I don't know. I mean, somebody's got to win the game, haven't they? So I suppose it may as well be us. But I don't know. It's a hard situation. I think it's one of them where most managers, especially in the top two divisions, tend to put weakened teams out a little bit earlier on until they maybe get to the last 8 or something like that, and then they maybe go for it. But the lower leagues, they put the strongest teams out because they want to get through and get the revenue. We could do with some revenue, like Jan said. It wouldn't do us any harm to have a decent cup run and get some money in the coffers. But it's hard. It's a balancing act, isn't it? I think he'll play some of the, what you could say, the better players, I suppose, and some of the ones who don't normally play. I think he'll make it a bit of a mixture because he won't want to play badly, but he won't want to risk injuries, I don't think. So people like Destan, who hasn't played a great deal, Akintola, I dare I say him, would he start? I don't know. These players who don't play a lot, I think some of them will get a game and he'll put 1 or 2 of the regulars in, maybe more than 1 or 2, and I don't know, I'd like us to have a cup run, to be honest, especially after going to Wembley. It was a brilliant day, even though we lost. It was really a good day.
It was.
Been better if we'd have won, but
it would have been even better if we'd have won.
I still like the FA Cup, but I think it has lost its magic a little bit.
I think it has lost its magic a little bit. Yeah, I agree with you. I think it has lost its magic a little bit. It's a shame because, FA Cup was probably the biggest thing in the country at one point. So it is a shame that it's lost its magic. But yes, it certainly has. Sergei will be having his press conference this Friday. Akinfenwa, he'll be the player that's up for interview this Friday as well, ahead of the FA Cup game against Blackburn. So, it would be nice to have a little cup run, but I am concerned slightly about our squad at the moment and how we're doing. Not a transfer rumour, but Sarah would like to see Toby Collier to come on loan. Have you got anybody you'd like to come, Becca?
We're being linked with quite a few different players. I mean, a lot of players that are playing currently in the Championship that haven't made any great shakes, to be honest. A lot of the names have been linked with, like Barry's been linked to come back and a few people, but I would like to see I would like to
put back on the spot here, aren't I?
Yeah. I've not really thought a great deal about who I'd like to see come in on.
All right, Becca, let's change the tack with you to try and make it easier then. Who do you think we need to move out this transfer window?
I would potentially probably say either Emiya or John Lundstrom, if I'm honest. You know, Lunny's made 10 appearances so far this season. Emiya's made double that. It does come in for a bit of criticism, but we do play better down the centre channel when he is playing. But I think Matt Crooks has been fantastic sitting in that deeper role with Regan Slater playing alongside of him. So I think potentially, you know, one of those two would potentially be my hit list to go, if not both.
Okay, Jan?
Akintola. This is probably a bit controversial. I would maybe send Ndala back.
I don't think that's controversial. I would send Ndala back. I've not been impressed with him. I don't think he's strong enough for the championship.
Casey Palmer can go for me, and he's a big earner, isn't he?
Yeah,
you know,
I know
he goes far, but you know, he's another one of these that, you know, flatters to deceive at times.
Tell us in the comments who you think you'd like to go out in the transfer window as well, please.
I mean, I'm just trying to think who's up there. Let me just.
Paul, while Jan's thinking, you have your say.
Well, I'd probably agree with Jan. Them two. I mean, they haven't set the world alight, have they? They're only going to get a game. We'll only get in a game because we've got injuries. To be quite honest, they're probably way down the pecking order. So I would be tempted, you know, them two to go. But it's whether somebody will take them, isn't it? More than who we want to get rid of. Whether we can get rid of these people. You know, it could be, you know, Drama could be one that goes because he isn't very happy at the moment, is he? He was going to play on Sunday as daft as it was, so it's a bit upsetting that. But you know, I think he'll probably end up going because he's asked to go, and
is Palmer and the reason that Drama was probably going to play on Sunday, is it to put him in the shop window to try and get some takers?
I'd say so, because they've not played often. They've not had the chance to showcase their ability. Drama more than Palmer definitely has, and is probably had more better performances than Palmer has, but Palmer's too inconsistent. I'm not sure who would actually come in and take him off our hands, if I'm totally honest. But
maybe somebody desperate like we did last, because we took him right at the very end of the video, didn't we? Yeah.
Well, it says Williams, Akintola, and Phillips are the three for Hare. If I can get the there we go. Sarah says Akintola, Emiya, and Palmer for Hare. I don't think they're bad calls.
You probably could do with them all playing on Sunday, to be fair, and having good games. So showcase themselves a little bit, because
but then you could
haven't been able to.
The terms of the loan agreement, do we have a right to send them back or not?
It's hard to know, isn't it? Because loan agreements are all different, aren't they? Yeah. When they do these loan agreements, there's all different things. I mean, I think we've only got a couple of days left until we can actually get until they can actually stop taking Joe Geldhart back. So that's good news that Joe's just not quite got over his injury yet. He might be back next week. It's good news for that, because I didn't want Leeds to take him back. I'm not sure whether they was interested in taking him back, but I think his injuries maybe come just at the right time to stop them taking him back, which is a good thing. So
there's a lot of talk from the Leeds fans about wanting Geldhart back, but I think Dominic Calvert-Lewin's it formed just at the right time for us in that respect.
Yeah. So, you know, it's, as you say, Jan, there's lots of, we don't know, do we, what goes into all the loan agreements. And it's one of them where I think everybody who does loans, I mean, we was talking in the Tigers Trust Arena, and I think it was the guy from Chef Wednesday who played really well, Paul, you'll know quickly.
Madden, no. Well, for
the young lad.
Amas.
Yeah. I think Mike was saying that Amas is at Sheffield Wednesday. Man United are paying for his accommodation, his wages, and absolutely everything. So Sheffield Wednesday are not having to pay a thing. And that goes to show how different loan agreements can be between different clubs at different times for different people, doesn't it?
Yeah,
but
definitely.
Somebody's recalled a Watford player, aren't they? Is it Man City have recalled somebody from Watford? Because it was on social media, because we were saying we ought to see if we can get him. That would really wind it up even more. I think it's the central.
I saw that, yeah. I did see
Yeah.
that. I did see that. Oliver says, in contrasting news about former City players, Ryan Mason got the sack at West
Yeah,
Brom.
that's
He thought they actually looked good against Leicester last night, but didn't take their chances on Monday night. He put Monday night. He's corrected himself there. But didn't take the chances. I don't think they look bad against us, to be quite honest with you, West Brom. I thought they looked all right against us, and you know, I don't think he's a bad manager, to be quite honest with you, Ryan Mason. I think he's a good manager, and it just goes to show it's such a results-based business, doesn't it? And if you don't get the results, you're not going to be there. Tiger Fresh says
the thing is with the championship this year, it's pretty tight, isn't it?
very tight.
You know, there's a lot
Very
of games left. If you want a run of 7 or 8 games and won 5 or 6 of them, you can be right back up there, can't you? I don't think they give them enough time. Or sometimes, you know, they have a bit of a bad run, and it's let's get rid. And you know, sometimes it just takes a win, and then all of a sudden
West
they're
Brom
on
at the
a run.
moment are on 31 points. They're only 10 points off getting in the playoffs. It's no points at the moment, is it?
No.
No.
There's loads of games left. But, you know, it is what it is, football.
It's Tiger Fred Johnny, isn't it? Yeah. He says,
Yeah.
what about the players out on loan like Umar and Kamara? It's a good question.
Can stay there.
Yeah, so
Is
Keep him there.
Is Dowell an upgrade to Palmer? Asks Sarah. And Louise says, glad it wasn't against us that Ryan Mason lost his job, poor lad. Yeah, I'm glad too. I'm glad he didn't lose his job against us because I liked Ryan Mason, good lad, and bad injury that he got that saw him obviously finish his actual football playing career, which is such a shame. So it's a shame for him. I think he's a good manager. I think he's got a good career in front of him. What do we all think about this FA Cup game then coming up on Sunday? Do you want to win it, Jan?
yeah, I do want to win it. Yeah, I don't think we can risk Matt Crooks because he's on 9 cards, isn't he?
Is he?
Yeah, so he's one of the ones that we really don't want to be using if we don't.
We should have tried to. Well, we would have probably tried to get him 10 cards
Yeah,
on
but
that
he's
game
a
last
match
Sunday,
fan.
wouldn't they?
So
It is
They
too.
got his
Yeah.
10th card, I'm sure.
Hampton next.
He collects them.
Want to miss that.
It's like Panini.
It was funny, actually. We'll go on the Panini thing. It was funny that Watford fan, the first thing that he pulled out of his sticker set was a Hull City sticker. I liked that one on social media. That was quite funny. Do you want to win on Sunday, Becca?
I do. I would like to see us stuff Blackburn, to be honest, after earlier in the season. I think, you know, we gave a really poor account of ourselves that day. And I was absolutely, at the time, infuriated with Sean McLaughlin. So I would happily see us stuff them well and truly on Sunday.
Yeah,
And
well,
if I'm honest, I'm not sure if I'd rather see a cup run over anything this season. I think that, like Jan said, we need the money. So stuff Blackburn on Sunday, get some money in to the club.
yes, that'd be nice. Your thoughts, Paul?
Yeah, it'll be a tough game. I think both teams will send semi-strong squads out. Not too strong, because obviously they won't want to get injuries. We can't afford to get any more injuries. So I'd like to win, yeah. You don't want to lose any game. You don't want to lose anything you play, a sport, you don't want to lose. If you're playing with the attitude, I want to lose, you shouldn't be in the sport. So I want Hull City to win. If they lose, I won't be unhappy because it's the FA Cup and obviously we want to get in that top 6 if we can. But, you know, yeah, you go into every game wanting to win and I want us to win. But, you know, I ain't going to be upset if we lose. Because, you know, we're not going to win the FA Cup, are we? But I'd like a decent run. We haven't had one. I don't think we've gone through any of the cups recently, have we? We've got past the first round, hardly.
No, we haven't had a good run for a bit. We could do with another good run and see, you know, where we can get with it and see if we can get, as you say, some money coming into the club. Because, you know, you're right, we do need some money in. And I hope that, you know, I hope that we can get through and maybe get a big side in the next round of the FA Cup. I think a big side at home is better because, you know, you can probably make some more money having a big side at home. I know they do. I know they do split gate receipts and stuff like that, but I still think, you know, you make more money at home because you're selling all the merchandise and the food and all like that. So I think that, you know, a good draw at home, if we can get through this one, would be good. It's a funny time. I believe it's 2:00 kickoff on Sunday.
2:30, isn't it?
Is it 2:30?
Yeah.
2:30 then, yeah, funny time. I knew it was a funny time. So 2:30 on Sunday it is. So if you are going, don't get that mistake. Don't mistake that, because you might end up half an hour late for the game.
Probably that's why.
Well,
It's
could
on-
it be off? Could it be off again with the weather? If
Well,
the
somebody
Who
put
knows?
it's forecast for snow. Well, I've looked at the forecast for Sunday, and there could be some wintry showers, but it's going to be 3 degrees. So I don't think it's going to be called off. I think it will be on. I've got to say thank you to the carmusgo.co.uk for their sponsorship of the show. Really good of them to sponsor the show. And if you don't know about them, this is them.
Looking to buy or sell your next car or van? At thecarmustgo.co.uk, we make it easy. We are proud to be your trusted local Hull business, with 5-star Google reviews from happy customers across East Yorkshire. We buy and sell quality cars and vans, all with a full mechanical check, MOT and warranty included. So call in and see us today at Rugby Street in Hull, or visit us online at thecarmustgo.co.uk. We buy, we sell cars and vans.
If you're looking to sell or buy a car or van, then please get in touch with thecarmusgo.co.uk and they'll be able to help you out. Mason Bairstow isn't doing bad on loan at Bolton. He has kind of been forgotten by us, and that is true, Charlie. We might come on to that on next week's show when we'll be back here on Target Talk, 7 o'clock next Wednesday. Who'll be on? Well, I'll be here. That is guaranteed. I'm sure Jan will be here. You'll be here, Paul.
Yeah,
Becca might come back.
I'll come back. I'll be here.
We'll see you next week. Thanks to you, Jan, for coming on tonight.
Thank you. Good night.
Thanks to you, Becca.
Thanks, Eddie. Have a good night.
Thank you. And thanks to you, Paul.
No problem.
And just before we go, John says that the Tigers Trust Arena is open at 12 on Sunday if you fancy coming down there for a pint and have a go on Open the Box, which I never, ever win. It cost me a fortune on Sunday. I've joined the OSC again for 3 years. That cost me £20 on Sunday, and I still didn't get to see a game. Have a good night, everybody. If you want to join the OSC, you can do hullcityosc.org, I think is the address that you need to go to. We'll see you next week.
Bye.